Good evening. The Little London police have commenced a probe into the death of a 12-year-old student from the Broughton district in the parish who is alleged to have taken his own life by hanging himself on Monday night into yesterday morning. The boy, Lauren Jurek, otherwise called Juju, attended the Little London Primary School up to the time of his death, but recently passed his examinations to attend the Grange Hill High School. The community of Broughton was sent into shockwave yesterday morning after the boy's mother, Candine Palmer, was in the process of fetching a bucket of water from a nearby spring, discovered her son's body, which was hanging from a branch of an apple tree in the rear of the yard. She raised an alarm and summoned the police, and upon their arrival, the scene was processed and Lauren's body removed to the morgue for post-mortem examination. Ms. Palmer, upon relating the story, which she believed drove him to committing suicide, said on Monday afternoon she scolded her son and ordered him to walk to his cousin's house and apologize after he did something which was dishonest.
After 11, or 11:30, 11:15, 11 to 11:30. So I call my cousin and ask my cousin if he see him, because he do something where I tell him to go and apologize. So my cousin come and says, no, I don't see him. So I ask everybody we passed on the road up the road, they don't see him. So I run down to evening now till night after 8. I still don't see him. So I ask everybody if they see him. Normally people that see him are in over there, so I go, but eventually now, me no see him. So I call the local London police station and tell them what happened. Say he do something and I talk to him about it. And then he went missing and I see him. They say, okay, if you have any family members, if he always a do it. So I tell them, say, yes, he always a do it, but he stopped for a while now. And then this morning after 9, I wake up. 10, 11, 12, 1, 2 minutes sleep. I sit down at the window there, so I look, I listen. If him go come call me. I don't hear nothing. This morning now I wake up and I go full water down there. So I see one red shirt. So I put down the pan and I look good. So I say, "No juju this here." So I drop the pan and I run go back out the road and I call the same girl where the incident happened yesterday and whatever. And she said yes I him, and then I call one other man a pass and I said to him, Scarcha, go look if a juju, and he said yes a juju. And then we just start crying and then I call the local London police station. No, I can't find a word to really tell you how I feel as a mother for now say me find him in that situation. I don't know what to tell you, say, officer, but there's a lot going on behind this. With the father, holy things. Yeah, man, holy things.
A close friend and resident who goes by the alias Miss Chin describes young Lauren as very quiet, and this incident is most unfortunate.
If I food, yes. As she said, when she missed him yesterday, she thought the child is at my house. But she wasn't at my house. As I say, I wish in my house. Easy for shame. When I talk to him, easy for shame. As I talk to him, he cry. You understand? So me know say something goes wrong. And he shame about because he easy for shame. Love cry as I talk to him. But nice. Never disrespect me. Never disrespect nobody in our community. As this man, everybody could come and see and talk about him. He's very nice, little boy.
Councillor for the Little London Division, Ian Miles, told reporters that the incident was a most unfortunate case and made an appeal to the government to implement departments within the school system that can easily depict when a child needs psychiatric help and render assistance and counseling.
But what I do know about him is a very quiet, unassuming individual. I know the family members well, their mother, the grandmother, I know them extremely well. It's a sad occasion. I must, first of all, lend my sympathy to the mother and grandmother and all the rest of family members. But what transpired, it's an allegation thus far. What transpired is something that we need to look on in a holistic way, from a government standpoint, in ensuring that we have trained professionals within the school systems that can readily identify these behavioral disorders and treat with it. The teachers are not trained like that. Teachers will teach pedagogical skills, and they will deal with the psychomotor issues. That's what they are trained for. But you will see students here. Not saying this young man is one of those, but you will see students from time to time behaving normal, and upon exiting the institution, will pass them along the roadside, and so it's a greater need, and it's really wide scale. I'm speaking. I can attest to more than five that I would have thought that is now walking, on the road from a mental health perspective.
E-Learning Jamaica, in partnership with the Ministry of Education and Youth and the Statistical Institute of Jamaica, donated 63 laptops, 120 tablets, and 4 projectors, which are to be handed over at a later date to the Department of Correctional Services, DCS, to assist with their teaching, learning, and mentorship programs in the juvenile facilities. The donations were handed over during a ceremony at the South Camp Road Center yesterday. Education and Youth Minister Favour Williams said she's encouraged by the DCS's programs, which she noted takes a holistic approach to rehabilitation and will be significantly bolstered by the donations.
Yes, we understand that they have committed a wrong, they've run afoul of the law, they've broken a rule that society says should not be broken, and they are here. But we want them, when they leave this place, to be fully functioning men and women able to operate in our society and to take their rightful place. I heard you, Minister, in terms of the long road that they may have to walk after they leave here, in terms of just getting acceptance from society. And maybe that is something we should work on in terms of building awareness about the programs here and the type of students that when they complete whatever the term, the sentence is, to build that awareness in society, that society does not continue to punish them because they would have already served their time here for whatever that wrong was.
Minister Williams outlined the importance of support for children being abused.
We know that children don't grow up by themselves. They pattern what they see the adults in their homes do. And we know that in Jamaica, there is way too much abuse of our children. And I'm not just saying that off the top of my head. The CPFSA, Child Protection and Family Services Agency, which is an agency at the Ministry of Education and Youth, is our first responder to calls of abuse of our children. And annually, they respond to something like 12,000 calls annually. And that is just, if you look at the unique child, you'll get the 12,000. But if you look at repeat situations, that number is about 50,000. Many of our children suffer abuse from the adults who should be protecting them. They're kicked, they're cussed at, they're hit in the head, they're locked in closets, they're denied food, they are beaten physically, they're beaten mentally, and then they go to school. And we see the behavior that we see so many times on social media and on other platforms. It's a long road for both of us, for the Ministry of Education and Youth and the Ministry of National Security.
Chief Executive Officer of E-Learning Jamaica, Andrew Lee, said the technology is becoming more pervasive in education as it enhances the teaching and learning dynamic and assists in developing practical skill sets among students necessary for the digital age.
Today's donation of devices, which include 63 laptops, 120 tablets, and 4 projectors. Projectors are courtesy of Statin, who are currently conducting the national census. We are delivering this to the Department of Correctional Services. This is very important, as we must guarantee that our educators and students have access to technology that will support the improvement of national learning outcomes regardless of background and circumstances. Over the last 2 years, e-learning in collaboration with the Ministry of Education, and this throughout the pandemic, continued to live to our mandate of providing more students with connected technological devices to enhance their learning experience. Over this period, we have procured and successfully deployed 40,000 tablets to grades 4 to 6 students on PATH. We cater to the most vulnerable. 25,000 tablets to students in grades 8 to 9, and those are students on PATH. 15,000 laptops to PATH students in grades 10 to 13. And of course, over 30,000 devices to needy students through the Own Your Own Device initiative.
For his part, Minister without portfolio in the Ministry of National Security, Xavier Main, says along from ensuring correctional facilities of the DCS, there is also the need to care especially for those that were deprived of such care.
It is important to recognize that at the DCS, it's not just about punishment or deterrence, but certainly we accept that we have a duty of care to provide care and attention for youths who otherwise would have may have been deprived from such care and attention. And that care and attention, Minister Williams, extends beyond nutrition, shelter, or even the medical needs. Education is an important component. And as Dr. Thomas has indicated, within our juvenile correctional centers, participation in our educational programs is not an option. So for any juvenile who wants to evade education, we say to them that the juvenile centers are not the place for you. You should stay out, because once you come through these walls, it is a must that you are enrolled within our educational programs. So the standard of education, we strive to ensure that what we deliver here is of similar standard to that which is received or delivered to any child within our educational system throughout the island of Jamaica.
This donation follows consultation held with the Ministry of National Security and Department of Correctional Services to determine the needs of the entity. The Ministry of National Security is to begin the rollout of the public education campaign around the proposed new firearm law as a matter of priority. The directive was issued at a meeting of the National Security Council, the NSC, last Thursday, which was chaired by Prime Minister Andrew Holness. A statement today from the Office of the Prime Minister indicated that the monthly meeting discussed the public education campaign and a gun amnesty that is to accompany the legislation. In the Prime Minister's statement, it was pointed out that the amnesty will follow and run concurrently with a period of intense public education on the provision of the new firearm law and will give persons in possession of illegal firearms the opportunity to surrender these weapons to the state without jeopardy of prosecution. It was agreed that the amnesty will not be for an extended period. The OPM said the Security Council also reviewed progress on other pieces of legislation to strengthen overall law enforcement, which include the Bail Act and the Enhanced Security Measures Act. Meanwhile, the Office of the Prime Minister said the Council was informed that criminals have captured sections of the Bernard Lodge property in St. Catherine. The body reportedly expressed grave concerns and directed that strong action be taken to halt the illegal capture and squatting in the area. The health of murder accused Robert Fowler today delayed his case in the Home Circuit Court. The St. Catherine mechanic, who is accused of killing 20-year-old accounting clerk Kenise Jackson, was expected to enter a guilty plea today. However, when the matter was called up this morning, his attorney Lyndon Wellesley informed the judge that Fowler's medical condition was worsening. Fowler, who is also being represented by attorney Althea Freeman, appeared remotely. Justice Vinette Graham Allen subsequently made an order for him to get immediate medical attention. Wellesley told the court that the plan is to speed up the matter by foregoing a trial was still on course. Graham Allen said she wanted the deal with the accused man's health dealt with first before addressing the matter of a guilty plea. The case was set to be heard again on January 23, 2023. Kenise Jackson, who resided in Independence City, Portmore, St. Catherine, was found dead on March 26 last year, 2 days after she was reported missing. Her decomposing body was found in an open lot near the Portmore fishing village. Fowler was taken into custody and charged after he reportedly confessed. Police have theorized that Fowler, who is a mechanic, had lured the young woman to his home under the guise that he had left some of his tools. While there, an argument reportedly developed with Jackson and Fowler, during which he allegedly used a rope to strangle her. A handbag believed to be Jackson's and her bank cards were among items reportedly found at Fowler's home. According to the police, Jackson and Fowler shared a platonic relationship. Fowler would transport her to work on occasions. Commissioner of Police Major General Anthony Anderson says major crimes are up when compared to this time last year, with 86 murders. He made a disclosure during yesterday's press conference.
September, major crimes were up by 3.8% when compared to this point last year. There were 86 more murders, which is a difference of 8%. Shootings are down by 6%. Rape is down by 12%. Break-ins are up by 7%, and robberies up by 17%. However, when we examine the homicide figures more closely, a worrying trend emerges. In the month of September alone, there were 19 incidents of multiple murder, 18 doubles and a triple, amounting to 39 victims. So far this year, there have been 99 incidents of multiple murders, with victims totaling 218. We believe that this trend is reflective of the ease with which more and more criminals have been able to acquire guns and ammunition. Unlike the police, who are constrained in the use of lethal force when bystanders are around, these criminals couldn't care less who they kill, maim, or hurt. Our investigations have also revealed that in several of these incidents, there were multiple intended targets, and some who seem to be innocent bystanders are actually associated with those targets. We've been saying that if you associate with or are related to gunmen, then you're at great risk of becoming a victim of gun violence.
He also outlined that since the launch of Operation Relentless 2, there have been major narcotic seizures at the two major airports.
Since the start of Operation Relentless 2, there have also been significant cocaine seizures at two of our airports, with a combined value of over US $25 million. As it relates to the major narcotics operation at the Ian Fleming International Airport on September the 23rd, in which more than 1,100 pounds of cocaine was seized, that transnational investigation is ongoing. As it relates to the September 30th cocaine seizure by members of the Narcotics Division, where 18 pounds of cocaine was seized at the Sangster International Airport, one suspect is in custody and arrangements are being made for him to be questioned and charged. We also seized 20 legal guns within the first 8 days of the launch. In the divisions where we have been placing special emphasis, we have arrested 106 persons for various offenses, 34 of whom were arrested for illegal possession of firearm and/or ammunition, and 7 for murder. The operational activities will continue until year-end and into the new year. As additional resources come on stream, we will be allocating them across the country based on the various needs outlined in the policing plans.
He points to the seizure of 580 illegal guns.
With respect to firearms, as at the end of September, we seized 584 illegal guns, an 11% increase over last year. Shotgun seizures were up by 111%, while rifle seizures were up by 58%. Pistols were up by 8% and submachine guns were up by 42%. So we are pulling in a number of guns from the streets. We continue our strategic push toward bringing the membership of the JCF closer to the 15,000 mark. Our program of recruitment continues in earnest, and we believe that at the current rates, we are on target to recruit 1,200 by the end of this fiscal year. That's 1,200 additional members. Let me take this opportunity to urge every bright, passionate, dedicated, and honest young person out there to consider a career in the Jamaica Constabulary Force. If you believe you have what it takes and you can make a contribution to serving your country, take the test, enlist with us, and be a force for good.
Major General Anderson urged residents to help the police find violent producers and illegal weapons.
I'm again asking for the assistance of the law-abiding public as we carry out these increased activities. As we apply pressure on the spaces in which these criminals operate, you may see strange persons turning up in your communities. Do not allow them to get comfortable in your communities. If you see something, say something. Report it to the police. Call our tip line at 811, Police 119 Emergency, or Crime Stop at 311. Now, since
Residents living in the flood-prone community of McNeil Land and surrounding communities in Westmoreland are now calling on the National Works Agency, their Member of Parliament, and the Westmoreland Municipal Corporation to immediately clean the drains in the area, which they say are blocked and constantly causing flooding.
Now got top flood. You understand? So them a come and talk about storm and clean the drain them. So you need to clean the whole of the drain them. Make man go in there, go chop out the wood them and pack them, and that's the bantan can go in there and drive and clean out the drain, and then we don't get no more flood. Yeah.
Well, I'm very worried because we have small kids in here. We don't know what to do. You understand me? And I haven't seen anybody come in here and said anything.
I just a better road we need in here, so. And the drain them need to clean. The drain cause enough of the flooding we are going in here. But the people them in here now unite. That's why no power happen to them have to happen, you know. Because if them there unite and say, oh, come make we get the drain clean. Talk to the council and make the drain clean. The drain down clean. But enough of them are just food them want for them when food truck come in here and sitting.
Clean drain when rain fall and you have such a dry time, you see none of them come round. And soon as the water come round, you see them coming on tractor. Tractor can't go nowhere. You understand? Dry time you need it. We know the drain them. You have people from outside who are living in the area. How can you get somebody who live in the area to deal with the system in the area? You have to get the people who live in the area who have got through it so we can direct the real problem. You can't get somebody outside come fix the problem. Kind of in a hit. Are we living in it?
Member of Parliament for Western Westmoreland Moreland Wilson said work is now being carried out on several drains around his constituency, and they will be moving across various communities.
Is that we had an impending tropical storm heading to Jamaica. The warnings have changed since then. However, prior to the warning being changed, we had commenced the cleaning of certain critical drains in the constituency of Westmoreland Western. This particular drain is one of the critical drains, which basically means if you don't clean it, the roads get flooded, homes become inundated, and we lose property and life. So the main thrust of today is to ensure that we clean these drains as best as we can to ensure that in the event of heavy rainfall or downpours, we have the water running off and it minimizes the chances of property and life being lost.
And those are the stories making the news this evening. I'm Nicole Hales. Thanks for watching.